Hello everyone. Today is Saturday, April 19th, 2025. Let us continue to nurture wisdom for the mind, for the formless life element of ours that is empty, clear, and pure, so that we may awaken from ignorance and come to know our own origin element, the pure element of the mind. The pure element of the mind cannot recognize itself. It must create tools to be used for fabrication and learning. This is because the pure element has no movement at all, no coming, no going, no arising, no dissolution. It is an immortal element, extremely pure, utterly pure. In that state, there are no fabricated phenomena whatsoever. It cannot learn about itself by itself. It must rely on tools. It is like wanting to learn about the world beneath the ocean. We must build a submarine and diving suits in order to descend and explore. The diving suit is like clothing that covers the body, while the submarine is like a dwelling, a place to stay. To go deep underwater and learn, we must rely on these tools. We also need equipment to take and record images, pressure control systems, lights, batteries. All of this technology is required as instruments for learning. The sole purpose is learning. The same is true for our mind, or our life element, which is exceedingly pure. We ourselves are this pure element. The tool we have created is the faculty of perception. This faculty of perception is created to envelop our pure element like a bubble. And so we begin to have form. Once there is form, we dwell within this field of fabrication. This can be called the subtle body. When something comes into contact with the surface of the bubble performs the function of perceiving. But the mind, which is the life element, empty, clear, and pure, residing within the bubble, must rely on this very tool. The faculty of perception performs its function and ripples into sound, into images, ripples into feelings of liking and disliking, ripples into memory, and so on. Even with these tools, learning is still not complete. It must rely on another vessel, the physical body, in order to have a complete form. Once it takes up residence in this vessel, there is now a form that is the coarse body. In truth, there is both a subtle body and a coarse body serving as tools for learning. However, the nature of the coarse body is that it must be fed. The subtle body also must be fed, and its nourishment is pleasure. Please understand this clearly. The coarse body, the physical body, needs only food so that it can remain alive, so that it can continue functioning. The subtle body, however, seeks pleasant feelings and avoids unpleasant ones. But the mind, which is the pure element, needs none of these things at all. What the mind requires is only knowledge, clear knowing that it is the formless life element, empty, clear, and pure. It requires only awakening to its own purity. It needs to know that it is the origin element, the base, the foundation, one in substance with the emptiness throughout the entire universe of elements upon which all things depend. Our mind is the originating element of all fabricated elements. The mind cannot truly hold on to any fabricated element because fabricated elements are merely tools. When the mind has learned, when it has gained this kind of knowing that both the subtle body and the coarse body are entirely fabrications and not itself, and knowing that it is the pure element, exceedingly clear and utterly pure, once this is known, the search comes to an end. When this physical body breaks apart, the subtle body dissolves along with it, leaving only pure purity, the immortal element, abiding eternally. This is the nature of learning of our mind, and here there is no suffering at all. There are no emotions whatsoever. There are no fabricated states of any kind. One could say that this is beyond all dimensions. This physical body exists in 3 dimensions. More subtle than these three dimensions is the dimension of thought, mental images, emotions, the knowing faculty, and memory. This is a dimension of time and distance, the dimension of the subtle body. Call it whatever you like. But all of these dimensions, all of these fabrications described here are not us, are not the mind. The knowledge that the mind seeks is only this. This is the return to the origin element, after having relied on tools to learn and to find a way to know itself. Because our true nature cannot know itself directly, it must use tools. Once this knowledge has been realized, the matter is finished. The tools then become meaningless. It is like this: when a clear, pure nature is to come to know itself, it must first create a tool called the knowing faculty. Once there is knowing, something that is known appears for the knowing faculty to know. There is the knower and there is the known. Yet both the knower and the known are merely conditions, merely manifestations of the pure element. When this is contemplated with awakened wisdom, it is clearly seen that all things that are known can be known only because there is a condition that goes out to know, because there is a knower. This is the nature of wisdom. When the minds of all of us, when we ourselves, gain correct understanding at this point, then the mind that created these tools will gradually contract. It contracts inward, no longer sending its current outward to cling to any object of knowing. It begins to contract inward, to know inwardly, contracting further and further. It is a continual retreat inward, until it retreats to the very end, until it awakens to the clear knowing that it itself is the pure element, and that everything else is not itself. In order for the pure element to know itself, it must first create the knowing faculty. Fabrication then follows. Once the knowing faculty is created, fabrication is something that always accompanies knowing. For now, let us speak only of the knowing faculty. When the origin element creates the faculty of perception, this is called the knower. When there is a knower, there must be something that is known. Is that not so? What is known is the material elements, this body, any body, earth, water, fire, wind, trees, all material elements. All things without exception are things that are known. Once this tool is created, it turns out that the mind that still lacks wisdom, that is still ignorant, continues to rely on this knower, this knowing faculty, to know various things, to learn about all kinds of things. From waking until sleeping, it is endlessly busy searching for material elements in this world in order to care for the body, which itself is external and is also a material element. It is busy struggling to take care of material elements. Whatever material element is involved, it becomes busy taking care of that material element. As a result, there is no opportunity to reverse the current and come to know itself at all. From waking until sleeping, it is preoccupied only with learning about things outside. All the objects of knowing outside are treated as if there is a self who is their caretaker, their owner, and we remain stuck right there. From waking until sleeping, this has gone on for an unimaginably long time. Even now, we have changed bodies countless millions of times, yet we are still busy knowing outwardly. The knower goes out to know the known. The known is all forms, all material elements. We remain busy with this alone. There is no time, and there has been no one to point out or teach us to reverse the current and return to knowing our own origin. This is the structure. If we understand the structure of how the mind works, of what we are, we will understand liberation from suffering easily. This structure is extremely important. Please remember this well. Whether one is a child, an elderly person, a person with disabilities, a woman, a man, people of every gender, every age, every belief, every religion, every nationality, every race, Everyone can listen to my recordings. I created these recordings to give the knowledge of awakening to the mind, so that all of us may be free from suffering permanently and never suffer again. They do not rely on any religion, because the intention is for them to be universal. Whoever listens to the recordings on the Panya Vimutti channel will be free from suffering and will awaken. All of us have a mind. All of us have an origin element. We are this origin element itself, yet we do not know our own Dhamma element. We do not know that we are the life element that has no form, empty, clear, pure, utterly pure. We simply do not know. That is why it must be explained and must be pointed out. I myself have directly witnessed it. From the moment there was an explosive breakthrough into the pure element, it was like throwing a bomb straight into the center of the chest, and it shattered completely. The feeling of being a human being collapsed and disintegrated entirely. There was no longer any sense that I am doing something now. Even while speaking, there is no value given to this as sound at all, and there is no clinging, no attaching. It is like this continuously. This kind of knowing is what must be declared and shared, so that all of you may know it together, so that you will no longer have to suffer. Do not suffer over anything at all, because all things are merely things that are known, and there is only the knower that goes out to know them. All of this is nothing but tools. It is that simple. Listen continuously, listen often, listen until my voice begins to sound within your mind, and there will be my voice reminding you. When you are about to become angry, about to become irritated, about to become entangled in something, about to suffer over something, there will be my voice reminding you. Do you know what you're thinking? Do you know that you are clinging? There is no real self there. It arises, so let it be. It dissolves, so let it be. You know it in time, so let it be. You do not know it in time, so let it be. Do not cling to the fabricated states. Do not cling to the knowing state itself. Do not cling to the knower or the fabricator. Do not cling to them at all. Let them perform their functions. This is the kind of voice that will keep reminding you. And then you will experience lightness and openness. The more you listen, the lighter and more open you become. The more you listen, the easier life becomes. Listen until you are completely absorbed, because each recording contains beneficial content using simple language, spoken plainly, so that you can understand the structure easily. It is like this. If we want to defeat an army that is fighting against us, we must understand its structure, how that army lives, what tools it uses, how many soldiers there are, how they rest, what principles they use in combat, what kind of equipment they have, what models, what forms. We must understand the entire structure. Once we understand the structure, defeating them is not difficult at all. An undefeated warrior is a warrior with wisdom, with thorough and penetrating understanding. Therefore, we will gain thoroughness and clarity in freedom from suffering. We need to understand the structure of our own mind to grasp the principle and the essence clearly. You could say that I am explaining just a single leaf. Understand this one leaf, and you understand the entire forest. I am opening up the heart and laying it out for you to see that freedom from suffering has already been with us all along. Non-birth has also already been with us all along. All the tools, all the knowledge are already with us. We simply do not know. Right now, do we understand ourselves to be human beings? At the very beginning, right now, this very moment, do we understand that we are human? And has anyone in this world ever told us that we are not human? Has anyone ever told us that this body is not our body, that we are only borrowing it temporarily? Has anyone ever told us that the voice speaking right now is not our voice? Has anyone ever told us that the knowing happening right now The knowing of this voice is happening by itself, not us knowing. And has anyone ever told us that we were never born into this world? Has anyone ever pointed out to us that we are the life element with no form, empty, very clear, very pure, utterly pure, merged as one substance with the entire universe of elements? This is how it is for me all the time. Right now it is the same. No one ever told us anything like this. So then, what is the structure of our mind, of what we truly are? Why is it that we have come to be deluded into thinking that this body is us? It is as if I am telling you, do you know that all of this is a dream? Wake up. When you wake up, you will understand. You will realize, oh, so all of this is a dream. Yes, all of it is a dream. If we can understand just this, then it is finished. We will understand everything. All the striving and practicing we have done in various forms, all that we believe to be truly real, will turn out to be nothing but deception. Everything that is happening right now, do you know that it disappears right now? It immediately becomes the past. Everything that happens now becomes merely memory, and everything that will happen next arises from the thoughts being thought right now. In summary, there is only this voice. We live by this voice all the time. Do you realize it? All of us live by the voice that speaks in the mind. That inner narrator, the one that keeps talking inside, is constantly telling us what to do. When we are about to go to the bathroom, oh, my stomach hurts, it tells us that we have a stomach ache and that we should go to the bathroom. It tells us to go. While we are in the bathroom, it keeps thinking, why does my stomach hurt so much? Is it my stomach? Is it my intestines? Is there something wrong with my bladder? It keeps thinking like this. Why am I urinating so often? And so on. What should I eat today? Maybe pasta. Oh no, better not. Let's have something lighter, maybe soup or salad instead. This voice is speaking, and we follow this voice all the time. The voice that speaks in the mind sometimes speaks up like this. Oh no, how am I going to fix this work problem? How can this be fixed? There's a meeting coming up. It can't be fixed like this. The whole system has to be fixed. It has to be redesigned completely. I'm definitely going to get scolded again. Oh, what should I do? The work has a problem and it can't be fixed. This is so stressful. Do you see? We are sitting there thinking, sinking into the voice in the mind. We are being narrated by this inner commentator, muttering and complaining inside, and we flow and sink along with it. Then we become stressed along with it without realizing it at all. So now let's look directly at the structure, at the origin and the whole process of why we come to live in this body, why we suffer, and how we can be free from suffering. Right now, we understand ourselves to be human. How do we awaken to the truth that we are not human, that we are mind? Let's say that every question we have, every doubt we carry, every longing we have to be free from suffering, all of it requires that we understand the entire structure. I will explain this whole structure because I have awakened to the pure nature of the mind on the day it exploded and shattered completely, and the entire structure was understood. That is why I can tell you about it in a way that is easy to understand. And then you will not suffer. The structure is like this. It is divided into 3 layers. The outermost layer is the shell layer, which is this physical body. This is a layer of material elements used for functioning so that we can communicate with one another. These material elements are merely things that are known. This is layer 3. Layer 2 is the layer of fabrication. This second layer is the layer of the knower and the fabricator. The knower's function is simply to know and to see what is known, that is, the physical body and material elements. Layer 2 sees layer 3, and layer 2 also fabricates, assigns value, and gives meaning to layer 3. In summary, Layer 3 exists because layer 2 fabricates and gives it meaning. Do you understand? And layer 2 itself arises from the origin layer, layer 1, which is the layer of mind, the layer of the pure element. This is our life. We are this first, original layer. We are mind. We are the life element. This structure is the structure that we must understand first. Now let's remove the body. This body must certainly die. Isn't that right? That means when the body of a human or an animal dies, the mind, which is layer 1, and layer 2, which is the layer of fabrication, do not die. They continue on to seek a new body, relying on layer 2 to fabricate and send out a current to cling to another body. Then a new body is obtained, and layer 3 arises once again. Each time layer 3 breaks apart and dies, we go on to seek a new layer 3, to find a new body. This continues endlessly. There is layer 1, which is the pure mind itself, completely pure. Because this mind still does not know itself, it continues to rely on layer 2. Layer 2 is the layer of fabrication, the knowing faculty. It envelops the mind. It is like this. Imagine the mind as an egg yolk. The yolk is the mind, the pure element, utterly pure. It creates layer 2, the egg white, to wrap around itself. The egg white is the layer of the knower and the fabricating mind. Its function is to fabricate, assign value, give meaning, and perceive things. This is the layer of fabrication that envelops the yolk, which is layer 1. Layer 3, meanwhile, is the shell. It is the layer of form. It is the layer that is known by the knower. It is the coarse layer, purely material elements. Do you understand? The shell does not last long. This body does not last long. Is this way of dividing the layers clear to you? The structure of the mind residing in this vessel shows us clearly that this shell layer is definitely not us, because when this body dies, it goes to find a new shell, a new body. When that new body dies, it goes to find yet another new body, another shell. And yet we cling to the idea that we are human. Do you know this? When the human body dies, our mind, together with the layer of knowing and fabrication, what is called the mind continuum, goes to find a new body. Suppose it becomes an aquatic animal. Then we believe that we are an aquatic animal. So what exactly are we? Do you understand this point? And every time a new body is obtained, everything starts over again. One must begin anew, learn anew, learn the knowledge of the underwater world. No matter how much knowledge is accumulated in the underwater world, that body eventually dies, and one goes to find a new body, starting over once again. Suppose the next body is that of an underground creature, like an earthworm. Then one learns the knowledge of the underground world, learns about energies, and learns many things. In the end, that body dies as well, and one goes to find a new body. This time, suppose the body is that of a land animal, a wild animal. So what exactly are we? Do you understand this point? Layer 3, the shell, is the layer that changes very frequently. Layer 2 does not change. Layer 2 is the layer of the knower and the fabricating mind. It transforms its knowledge and its fabrications according to the vessel it inhabits. When it is an aquatic creature, it has its own way of speaking, its own language of communication. When it is an underground creature, it has a different form of communication. But the knowing faculty is the same. When it becomes a land animal, it has yet another form of communication. The knowing faculty is still the same. These knowing conditions envelop the mind. The outer shell then takes the form of a wild animal, and from that point on we take ourselves to be that wild animal. No matter how skilled we become in learning the ways of the animal world, in the end the body dies, it breaks apart. Death is a normal thing. We hear this as something normal, don't we? Then by good fortune indeed, it becomes a flying creature. Now it can fly in the sky. Being in the sky, underground, on land, or in water has equal value. As a flying creature, everything starts anew. There is much knowledge to learn in the sky, but in the end, once again, it dies. Once again, the body dies. So in the end, what exactly are we? Suppose we have changed into beings like this countless billions of times before finally becoming human. Becoming human is extremely difficult. Now by chance we have become human. After changing vessels 8 million times, we finally become human. Extraordinarily fortunate, like winning the first prize in the lottery. Once we obtain the human vessel, we start anew, learn anew. We learn the knowledge taught in this world. We obtain 8 million doctoral degrees. What for? From waking until sleeping, what are we doing? We are entirely preoccupied with external matters, endlessly entangled with this body, finding food to sustain it, arguing, fighting, killing one another to sustain the body, even though this body is not truly ours. Who teaches this kind of knowledge? We are busy with things that do not belong to us. Instead of simply caring for the body enough for it to function, feeding it once a day would already be sufficient. We could then use the remaining time to learn about the mind. But this never happens. From waking until sleeping, we are busy only with material elements, with this body. The mind is layer 1. Layer 2 is the layer of fabrication. It is never studied. Instead, we are busy studying the shell. The egg yolk and the egg white are never understood, yet we are endlessly occupied with the shell. The shell decays and breaks down, while the yolk and the white keep changing shells over and over again. And we become deluded into believing that we are human. Now we are human, and we even have first and last names. How absurd. The mind cannot have a name or a surname. The mind cannot be human. The mind has never had parents, never had children, never had a family. It has no gender, nothing at all. There is only the world of convention that we have become lost in. Now, do we understand this three-layer structure clearly? Why do we suffer? Do you know that suffering is an emotion? Both suffering and happiness are emotions. Suffering is when things do not go according to what is thought. Happiness is when things go according to what is thought. Suppose we think we want to eat papaya salad with fermented crab and fish sauce, and we get to eat it. A pleasant emotion arises. But if we think, oh, it would be so nice to eat papaya salad today, I should eat papaya salad. The mind thinks this, imagines it completely, then we walk there and find that it's sold out. An unpleasant emotion arises because it did not go according to what was thought. When it goes according to what is thought, the emotion is pleasant. When it does not go according to what is thought, the emotion is unpleasant. That's all there is to emotion. Emotion is only this. The body is the shell layer. It only needs food. Day after day, we are busy searching for food. This body layer is the shell layer that we should not pay too much attention to, because it is born to break apart. It does not last long. If you understand it this way, it is finished. Very simple. It needs only one meal. The body never complains. The arms and legs never speak, saying, I need more meat. Go find meat for me so I can swell up. I'm flat now. Arms and legs do not speak. It is only the inner voice that speaks. Layer 2 assigns value and meaning to layer 3. Layer 3 is the shell layer, the layer of material elements. Layer 2 performs the function of perceiving. It knows things outside. It knows that something is present. That is all it does. It simply knows. At this stage, it is only bare knowing. There is just knowing, with no language. An image appears and is known, but nothing is being named yet. Then a voice appears and explains. That voice assigns value and meaning, saying this is a body. For example, when we look at our arms and hands right now, the knowing itself does not say, this is an arm. It does not say, this is the palm or the back of the hand. It does not say, these are fingers. Try looking. There is only simple knowing, open, silent knowing. It knows, but it knows without language. It is the inner voice that comes in afterward and assigns meaning. Here is the palm, here is the back of the hand. This is the right hand, this is the left hand, this is the skin, this is the little finger, the index finger, the middle finger, the thumb. This inner voice is what speaks. This thinking and fabricating function is what assigns value and meaning to what is already known. Our mind, which is layer 1, creates layer 2 as a tool. Layer 2 is created to perform two functions, to know and to fabricate meaning. Layer 1 itself has only one function, to receive information. It creates layer 2 in order to learn about itself. But layer 2 is trained to go outward, to learn about the outside world instead. So it continues learning outwardly. It does not return to learn inwardly. It gathers information from outside and sends it back to the mind. The mind knows everything, but this is not the knowledge it seeks. The mind does not want any external knowledge. The mind wants to know inwardly. It wants to know, who am I? We do not know that we are the pure element. There is only not knowing. When there is not knowing, then know it as not knowing. When this pure element does not know itself, it creates tools, namely the knowing faculty and the fabricating thinking function. This is the layer of fabrication, the layer of the egg white. The egg yolk creates the egg white in order to fabricate. Now this egg white sends its current outward to know things outside. It knows the eggshell and it knows all material elements outside. We know everything outside, and we also think, assign value, and give meaning to the things outside that we know. We give meaning that this is an animal, this is a person, this is a good person, this is a bad person, this is a mango tree, a lime tree, a coconut tree. This voice gives value and meaning, but those things themselves never say what they are. Try looking, see for yourself. They do not speak. This body does not speak either. It does not say it is a body, an arm, a leg. It does not speak. It is this voice that continuously assigns value and meaning. If we understand this structure, we will see clearly. So is it this voice speaking right now that creates all the stories? Yes. Try saying father and mother silently in the mind. Do you see? Immediately, images appear. Do you see that this voice and these mental images create everything in order for the mind to know? The function of the mind inside requires information from layer 2. The egg yolk requires information from the egg white. The egg white is the one that sends information to the egg yolk. Do you understand? Therefore, the egg yolk does not know the eggshell at all. It only knows that it sends a current for the egg white to perform its function. It is like us sending money to officials so they can work for us. These officials will work for us only when we send them money. When they obtain information, they send the information back to us. Do you understand? The mind, which is the origin element, sends out a current to create the knowing faculty. It creates this veil of fabrication to cover itself, and then relies on this fabrication to send information back to the mind itself. As long as we do not know the mind, do not know ourselves, we will continue to rely on fabrication, and we will continue changing bodies endlessly. Every time we obtain whatever vessel it may be, we know everything in that world. We live our lives knowing everything, having new parents, new families, countless children, producing offspring in enormous numbers. Each time we inhabit a vessel, it is always the same. We search for food, we reproduce, and then the body dies. Then we go to find a new body. The layer of the egg yolk and the layer of the egg white continuously go to find a new eggshell. This is how it has always been. We have had countless parents. We have had countless children. We have had countless husbands and wives. We have had countless relatives. Every time we change to a new vessel, we start anew and have everything anew in this way. But this is not the knowledge the mind wants. In short, we created fabrication. We created the knowing faculty, and then we went to inhabit vessels. We did not create fabrication in order to learn about the outside world. We created fabrication in order to learn who we truly are, to come to know ourselves, only that. We do not need to know the outside. We need to know, what are we truly? Have we ever wondered what we truly are? How is it that we come to inhabit this body? And what does this life really want? And if this body breaks apart and dies, where do we go? There is only not knowing, truly only not knowing. There is a deep feeling stirring inside, struggling, asking, what is it that we really want? What is it that we want to know? What is our true self, really? When we were aquatic creatures, we said we were aquatic creatures. So then, are we not aquatic creatures? When we were underground creatures, earthworms, then we said, we are earthworms, underground creatures. So then, are we not underground creatures? When we changed to land animals in the forest, are we not wild animals? What exactly are we? When we went to inhabit the vessel of a flying creature in the sky, learning all the knowledge of the sky until it was fully known. So then, are we not flying creatures? When we become human, we come to learn everything in this world, the entire universe. And after learning it all, what do we gain? In the end, the body dies. So then, are we not human? What exactly are we? If that is so, we keep changing vessels endlessly, so what are we really? Do you know that we are mind layer 1? We are the egg yolk, we are mind. We create fabrication, which is the egg white, but we become lost in the shell. We come to believe that we are the shell, that we are human. That is why I say the mind cannot be human. The mind cannot have parents, cannot have children or descendants. The mind has never been good, never been bad. It has never had merit, never had demerit. It has never had wholesomeness or unwholesomeness. The mind has no pleasant emotion. The mind has no unpleasant emotion. The mind is not involved with layer 2 at all. The mind is the layer that is the origin element, utterly pure, extremely pure. This is the structure. The mind creates this structure in order to return to knowing itself. Look at it from another angle. From this angle, we are the pure element. We create the knowing faculty. The knowing faculty goes out to know the outside. It sees everything. It hears sounds, smells odors, tastes flavors, and feels touches. It knows the outside. It knows everything. And all of those are things that are known. They are material elements, aren't they? They can be known because what? Because there is the knowing faculty that goes to know, right? It is like this. Suppose we are a flashlight. The light of the flashlight is the faculty. It is the function that allows knowing. When the beam of the flashlight shines on anything at all, that becomes the thing that is known. An image appears immediately. At first it is dark, nothing is seen. But when the flashlight is turned on, the beam appears, and whatever the beam touches becomes a form, becomes merely a thing that is known. Right here, knowledge arises. The flashlight, which is the origin, knowledge arises right here. The flashlight begins to know. This is called beginning to enter the current of wisdom, beginning to become intelligent, beginning to awaken. The flashlight created the beam of light for what purpose? To know things. This shows that these 3 layers are as follows. The flashlight itself is the first layer, the original layer. The second layer is the beam of light. The third layer is all the things that are known, the objects that are illuminated. They are simply things that are known. If we look carefully, we will see that all things that are known, all images that appear, are merely things that are known. There is something that performs the function of knowing. Only then can they be known, isn't that right? It is because there is the light of the flashlight that the image can be seen. Now, we begin to look at the knower, using thought to understand, using fabrication to follow along in understanding. This body exists because there is something that is knowing. Right now, this body is being known, isn't it? Try looking at everything. Everything can be known because there is seeing. Isn't that so? We can know sound, no smell, no taste, no touch. We know that the knowing faculty is being sent out to know various things. Those various things are merely things that are contacted, merely things that are known. When we begin to understand this, everything that is known only because there is something that goes out to know it. It can be known because there is the light of the flashlight. That is why images can be seen. When understanding begins in this way, at first we were interested only in the outside. Then it begins to reverse the current, returning inward to see. It is because there is the act of seeing, because there is the knowing faculty here, that things can be known at all. It begins to turn to look at the one who knows, to come to know this light itself instead. This light performs the function of knowing images. This light itself is the cause. When we come to look at this light, at the one that is knowing right now, we are returning to layer 2. Layer 3 no longer matters. Even if it exists, it has no value at all, because attention has shifted to the one that is knowing. This characteristic is the characteristic of wisdom. When the flashlight, which is the origin element, creates this light and shines it onto things, at first it is busy with all the things that are seen, shining the light everywhere, seeing everything, delighting in everything that is known and seen. But later, suffering begins to arise with these things. Then there is a realization. So all these things that are being seen, there must be something that is seeing them. That is the true cause that makes seeing possible at all. It is because there is the light of the flashlight that things can be seen. So there is a turning inward, coming to know the one that is the light instead, coming to look at the knower itself, because it is this knower that goes out to know all things. When attention is then set on knowing the light of the flashlight itself, forms are no longer of interest. Things that are known are no longer of interest. They are completely dropped as meaningless. Then there is the question, where does this light of the flashlight come from? This knower that is knowing, does it know by itself? The light of the flashlight is simply doing its own work. It continuously performs its function of illuminating. Then, if that is so, where does this light of the flashlight come from? If we contemplate carefully in this way, this is wisdom. It can come to know itself only by relying on these things. Without these things, it cannot know itself. Do you understand? The flashlight begins to give rise to wisdom. So where does this beam of light come from? When it turns inward to ask where the beam of light comes from, it then knows that this beam of light arises from the origin element. In truth, this beam of light has no real self at all. Do you understand this point? When the flashlight realizes, does this beam of light really arise from my own nature? Then the question follows, why have I been relying on this beam of light? Why have I been relying on all the things that are known, all the things that this flashlight shines upon and reveals? All things that are seen, all things that are known, become meaningless. Even the knower itself, even the beam of light becomes meaningless. When the flashlight, or the mind, or the origin element comes to know, oh, all this time I have been relying on the beam of light, relying on the knowing faculty, but this beam of light, this knowing faculty, is not me. I am the flashlight, I am the mind, I am the origin element itself. Then the beam of light becomes meaningless. Right now, you are hearing my voice. Do you see? It knows by itself. If you can see that the knowing of this voice is happening on its own, where then is the self? If a scent is sensed and known, does that knowing happen by itself? Where then is the self? And then, bang, there is an explosion within the mind. Tears may fall, there is a sudden release, a bursting open, a profound lightness. And you will know that you are the life element with no form, empty, exceedingly clear, exceedingly pure. This is the structure of reversing the current to awaken to one's own origin element. This is the process of ascending through stages. Do you understand the levels I am describing? These are levels of progression. When you are no longer interested in external things that are known, that is already 25%. You begin to remain with the beam of light itself. You turn to learn about the beam of light. You begin to learn about layer 2. As you learn about layer 2, understanding arises. Oh, the beam of light is like this. This is how it functions. This understanding is another 25%, becoming 50% wisdom. Understanding then deepens further. This beam of light merely performs the function of seeing, merely the function of knowing. Yet there is also meaning embedded within this beam of light, the sense that something is truly being known, that stories are truly happening. When this meaning, which creates all stories, is clearly seen as well, another awakening occurs. This is another 25%, known as passing 75% of the factors of wisdom. Then a more subtle knowing arises. So where does it ultimately come from? Where does this knowing faculty, this light, come from? It is then seen that it arises from the origin element, that is, the flashlight itself. At this point, the beam of light becomes completely meaningless. This is wisdom at 100%. The flashlight no longer clings to the light, and it no longer clings to any of the things that are known, because the flashlight now knows that it itself is the origin. That is the end. Whether the beam of light exists or does not exist no longer matters, because the flashlight does not cling to the light, and it does not cling to the things that the light illuminates. Likewise, when our mind is the egg yolk, the egg white is the knowing faculty and the thinking, fabricating function, and the eggshell is the body. Look at this body. It is merely something that is known, isn't it? Everything in this world is merely something that is known. If everything is something that is known, then who is the one that is knowing? Let us turn to look at the one that is knowing instead. Do you understand this point? There is no longer any need to be concerned with the body or with anything in this world. At this point, there begins to be awakening within. When we begin to awaken within, when this understanding is truly seen and accepted by the mind, there is lightness and openness. Try closing your eyes. The body disappears. Everything in this world disappears. Close your eyes. Where is the body? The body exists only because we think, because we imagine. Try observing this. We think, we imagine. Close your eyes and try thinking. Try imagining your body, your appearance. Think of your parents. Think of your home. Images will appear in the mind for a moment, and then a voice will speak saying, "This is our body, these are our arms and legs." That voice tells us these are our parents, our children, our relatives. The voice speaks everything. The voice explains. Images appear to be known. In summary, everything arises because of thinking and imagining. Thinking creates images and creates stories. This kind of knowing arises and tears fall. This is another 25%. When we draw knowing inward in this way, this is awakening within. We will see that pleasant emotions and unpleasant emotions, what we call happiness and suffering, whether they are calm emotions or agitated emotions, no matter how calm they may be, they are all emotions. No matter how pleasant the emotion may be, or how intense the suffering may be, no matter how subtle the liking or disliking may be, they are merely emotions, and these emotions do not speak. It is this voice that labels them as emotions. We will see that these emotions too are merely things that are known. Observe carefully that emotions are merely things that are known. When this is seen clearly, understanding arises. Then why have we been playing with emotions at all? At that point, there is no more clinging to emotions. Whatever the emotions may be, it no longer matters. It is like zooming the picture inward, pulling back inward, loosening from what is outside. We begin to see that all emotions are also external, because they are things that are known. There is a knower that is knowing them, and it is this voice that assigns value and meaning to emotions, labeling them as pleasant or unpleasant. This voice speaks, but the sensations themselves do not speak. Now keep observing inwardly. It is this voice that is speaking continuously, the one that assigns value and meaning, the one that creates all the stories. As you keep watching, you begin to see, oh, it is thinking on its own. Observe further and see that it thinks on its own, it speaks on its own, and then see that it too is something that is known. There is something that is knowing this voice right now. When this is seen clearly, the voice that speaks in the mind, what we call thought, becomes meaningless. The very thoughts we habitually think over and over, even to the point of mental distress, and the voice in the mind itself, the thoughts we have always flowed into and clung to, become meaningless. This is the stage where the egg yolk begins to no longer rely on the egg white. Yet it has not completely broken free. It has not yet reached the origin. When it is seen that sound is something that is known, emotions are something that is known, mental images are something that is known, that everything rippling here is entirely something that is known, then the question arises, who is the one that knows? Does it know by itself? Does it know the voice speaking in the mind by itself? When it is seen like this, that the knowing happening right now is knowing by itself all along, where then is the self? At that moment, it rebounds inward and explodes. There is sudden understanding and awakening regarding fabrication itself. Fabrication then dissolves naturally on its own and goes on to meet the origin. It is seen that the knowing faculty arises from the origin element. Thoughts, mental images, emotions, everything that is fabricated arises from the origin element, the root element that creates all fabricated elements whatsoever. When there is no longer clinging to knowing or to thinking and fabrication, there is a sudden bursting open, utter lightness and openness. Tears fall, tears flow. It is then seen how foolish we have been. We have never truly had a self. We are not human. We have never been anything at all. We are the life element, empty, clear, pure, merging with the entire universe. This is known on the day it is fully seen that it is not us at all. When the mind accepts the truth that fabrication is not the mind, fabrication explodes and completely disintegrates. We know immediately that we have broken free, that we have stepped out of being a person and become a pure element in fullness. We awaken. When we awaken and truly know that we are free, liberated, independent, we will know that non-birth is like this. What is there to suffer from? There is no me left here at all. There is no self remaining. It is a living nature with no form, extremely clear, extremely pure. It is the life element. Let us call it us. It is our true being, our true self, a self that is free from language, labeling it as me. There is no language here anymore, no fabrication, no movement, nothing at all. It is peaceful. It is an eternal element, abiding endlessly through infinite time, utterly light, utterly open. Once this is reached, what could be born? There is no me left. Nothing can happen here. When this pure element is touched, it is then realized how utterly foolish we have been. We were lost in appearances. We are the egg yolk, yet we foolishly clung to being the egg white. And not only that, we were foolish enough to cling to being the eggshell. Tears fall. How could we have been so foolish? There was never a me at all. It is fully known that our true being is that clear, pure essence, the one without language. When there is no language, there is nothing to call it, yet it is us. It has no words to say, I am, but it is known to be us. Can you sense this? There is no language, yet it is known unmistakably to be us, the life element that is empty, clear, and pure. This is our true being. It is like when we are in deep sleep. During the day, as we go about our activities, there is a sense that this body is us, that the body is us. Thoughts, imaginings, emotions, all are taken to be us. But when we fall into deep sleep, where does the body go? Where do family members, relatives, loved ones go? Where do wealth, happiness, suffering go? They all disappear. Thoughts are gone. Emotions are gone. All stories vanish. Resentment, hatred, anger, blame, ill will, all completely disappear. And yet, there is life, a life with no form, clear and pure, simply abiding as it is. What is missing there is wisdom. Deep sleep is a state without wisdom. The mind does not seek sleep. The mind seeks wisdom through learning. As long as we live in this world without awakening to the truth that we are the pure element, I tell you this: do not cling to the voice speaking in the mind. Do not cling to the thoughts speaking within. Do not cling to them. Do not cling to mental images. Do not cling to emotions. Do not cling to the knowing faculty. Do not cling to being human. Do not cling even to memories. In short, all of this arises from the origin element. Do not cling to being the eggshell. Do not cling to being the egg white. We are the egg yolk, the origin element, the source itself. This is the structure of reversing the current and awakening to the mind. Do you understand the structure now? This is the only way the mind can come to know itself. Do you know that this mind of ours, when it first came into being, well, in truth, it was never born at all. It has always been this way for an immeasurably long time, empty, clear, and pure, existing before everything. That is what we are. We are of the same element as the origin element of the entire universe of elements. You could even say we are the universe itself. Before the very first star ever arose in emptiness, that emptiness was us. We are the origin element, clear and pure, a life element without form, simply abiding as it is. What was missing was only wisdom. It could not know itself. Therefore, it had to create fabricating energy, knowing fabrication in countless forms, giving rise to form, until the first star came into being. We had to create the entire universe. Once it was created, we began to dwell within those material elements and began learning there at that point. If we had not created all of this, we would not have been able to know ourselves at all. Do you understand this point? We would never be able to know ourselves if we did not create this structure. This is the structure of the mind's learning of itself. All minds travel, creating everything, in order to journey and learn the way back home. it is like this. If we want to know the secret of a maze, we must enter the maze. If we want to know everything about the maze, we must go into the maze and then come out again. Then the game is finished. But the moment we step into the maze, we are drawn into the world of living within that maze, and it becomes extraordinarily difficult to find our way out. Only a sage with wisdom can do so. When one enters the maze, learns all the stories within the maze, and then emerges from it and proclaims the truth to the outside world, that is winning the game, winning this game. It is the same with us. We came to dwell here by creating fabrication, creating the knowing faculty, creating material elements, and then inhabiting them. We came to dwell in layer 2 and layer 3, the layer of fabrication and the layer of material elements. We came to live within these dimensions, the dimension of form and the dimension of fabrication, for one single purpose, to win this game. And winning this game means awakening to the truth that we are the pure element, and knowing that all of this has no self, is not us. It is like going to catch fish. To win the game of catching fish, we must first create tools, then use those tools to catch the fish. Whoever catches the fish wins the game. Once the fish is caught, it is eaten. The tools used to catch it are then discarded. They become worthless. Even if they are not thrown away, they are still worthless, because we would never eat the tools. We eat the fish as nourishment. Do you understand this point? Likewise, for the mind to awaken, to possess complete wisdom, it must create the faculty of knowing, the processes of fabrication, and then create all material elements, this body, this world, this entire universe, in order to dwell within them and learn. The world of the body has only one rule. The body must find food to sustain itself. That is the only rule. And then the learning begins. When we begin to learn and see that this body we temporarily inhabit is definitely not us, because we are only borrowing it for a while, and that this voice, these mental images, these emotions, whether pleasant or unpleasant, even this faculty of knowing and memory are also tools, then understanding begins. This voice exists to communicate with us. It is merely a tool meant to show us that this voice has no real self. Do not cling to it. Knowing that is aware of my voice right now is knowing by itself. Do not cling. Understand that it is a tool. When this is understood, we see clearly. Then why should we suffer at all? There is no us there. Why suffer? When suffering appears, kick it away. When happiness appears, kick it away. We do not cling to either. Whether it is happiness or suffering, they are the same. Pleasant emotion and unpleasant emotion are both emotions. They are of the same kind. It is like picking up a coin. You cannot take only the heads. You must also take the tails. Heads and tails come together. Do not be foolish enough to pick it up. The moment you pick it up, put it back down where it was. Do not pick it up at all, because it will bring both happiness and suffering together. That is why we experience pleasant and unpleasant emotions. Whatever kind of emotion arises, let it be. Kick it away. Do not cling to it. It knows. Kick it away. It understands. Kick it away. Whatever it is, kick it away entirely. And understand this deeply. Even what is being spoken right now, we kick that away as well. Spoken, then let it go. Thought, then let it go. Imagined, then let it go. Pleasant emotion, then let it go. Unpleasant emotion, then let it go. Neutral emotion, then let it go. Calm emotion, then let it go. Whether it remembers or does not remember, let it go. Whether it knows in time or does not know in time, let it go. Knowing and then letting go. Knowing and then letting go. Do not foolishly cling to any of it, because none of it is us. As long as we still rely on these things, we remain trapped in the cycle of suffering, the endless cycle of birth. When I understood this, when I saw it clearly and the mind accepted it, there was a sudden explosion within. Bang! The more you listen to my recordings, the lighter and more open you become. Listen often. Whoever listens will become lighter and lighter, more open and will understand the structure more and more clearly. Then you will not be deceived by it. Fight 100 battles, and you will win 100 times. But if you do not know this, fight 1,000,000 battles, and you will lose 1,000,000 times. Remember this well. Win this game. I will end here. May all of you who incline your minds to listen, awaken to the mind, and swiftly, suddenly realize your own purity, every one of you. If you're interested in these teachings on awakening, mind observation, and transcending suffering through wisdom, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Share your insights in the comments, provide productive feedback, and if you find this content valuable, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.